Welcome to Syntax. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Front End Happy Hour podcast.
Welcome to this week's JS Party.
Live from Shipshape Studios, this is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, with your hosts, Robbie the Wagner and me, Charles William Carpenter III.
That's right, Charles. We drink whiskey and talk about web development. I mean, it's all in the name. It's not that deep.
This is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot. Do not adjust your set.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Getting one more episode in before Charles William Carpenter III leaves town. Thought
that
we
means
would.
I'm dying. Is that weird? Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, no, he's not dying.
We're all dying. I mean, one day at a time.
Yes. The speed is different, but yeah. Yeah, we thought it seemed like a good day to drink on a Monday. We've been having lots of things happening in our lives, which we will get into in a little bit. Let's start with the whiskey, just so that we can go ahead and have some.
And don't worry, folks, I took my acid reflux medication before this. Because
Which kind?
Well, I take Prilosec every few weeks. I go through a cycle of
Omeprazole. Omeprazole.
Omeprazole. Omeprazole. Funny that I have had to buy acid reflux stuff in Italy before living there. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other story for just later. I'll bore you in a moment. Today we're having the Catoctin Crete.
I thought we were having the Rittenhouse.
No, that's why you put Rittenhouse in, and I was like, no, I'll get the other two. Rittenhouse is easy.
Well, then BRB.
All right, he's gonna go get that, but I will go ahead and say it. I thought I was doing this for him as a favor. So this is a Virginia rye whiskey, 80 proof, 100% rye mash. It is not age stated. Apparently, I'm guessing it's around 2 years because that's the minimum. And then they have a distiller's cut version that is 92 proof, and that one is 4 years. But this is not that one. This is like more their standard one. For me personally, this is coming back around to this distiller. I have tried they have a single malt, I believe, that was a little odd. Anyway, that's all there is about that, and Robbie is still getting his, and he has a
They do not have a single malt. They make only ryes. The one we had of theirs was the hot honey one. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't. But
it tasted just like hot honey. It was super weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had something else of theirs, and I could have sworn it was like something weird, like I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm thinking there's it's copper something. No.
Yes, Copper Fox or something.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay, so I've confused that. I don't remember if I've had this before, but I kill many brain cells. And I cannot find any whiskey glasses because anyone who's followed knows that I am constantly in flux and recording somewhere else at all times. Currently in Tucson, Arizona, in a middle area before moving overseas. Also, how are you supposed to temper your pores if you put it in a coffee cup? Just not a lot of decision making here. Yeah, you just fill it up. I mean, that's maybe what we feel like doing.
I mean, you don't have to work tomorrow. It's okay.
Right. It's a Monday. I don't have to work. Somebody's got a case of the Mondays, and I'm going to say it's me. I do feel like Monday is my least productive day of the week. We always start out with planning meetings. Every other week's demos, and then you have meetings, and it's and I inevitably, just before this, I was messing up configurations in SST. Thanks, Dax. You made it fucking hard.
Made it too hard? Yeah.
Yeah, he made it much harder. He was like, people seem to be able to use this. How can I make it harder?
Yeah, people like when they're trying to use AWS when they don't understand how to do it, so that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
So this smells like cherry to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, holy crap. I was just about to say I'm getting that on the flavor profile.
Oh,
initially.
really? Let me try some.
A little bit of that up front, a slight bit of cinnamon. Real mild, though, for a rye in particular. I know it's only 80 proof, but still.
Oh, yeah. It's got a lot going on.
Yeah, maybe even a little clove in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely some on the nose. Not any burn, but it's a lower proof. I'm going to give her another swig. Give her? Why do I genderize alcohol? I respect its privacy.
Maybe a little bit of licoricey. Yeah, some kind of old candy for sure.
Yeah, maybe you you also, because I tend to like star of anise, clove, licorice. They all kind of like fall into a similar bucket for me. Yeah, so maybe it's kind of hard to differentiate. And on that finish there, I almost get almost like a light molasses and then leather. There's a lot going on here. I got to say, Virginia. How about you,
Percival, Virginia?
Percival.
Yeah, right next to Middleburg. It was like very close to us, and I tried to do a barrel pick with them because I was like, it's basically the most local distiller we could do it with, and they were like, LOL, everyone's already picked all the barrels, so no.
Yeah, you need a broker to do that stuff. Nobody's going to do it directly with you, unfortunately. I feel like those programs have gone to the wayside.
Well, one time, a big deal. They will be like, hey, can we do a barrel with you? And I'll be like, absolutely not.
When you buy HashiCorp.
Yeah. Well, IBM beat me to that. But
oh, right. Yeah, so you're probably not getting in there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and explain to you a very complicated concept, and then I'm going to see, if you're able to work within those constraints.
Okay.
We have a highly technical rating system here on Whiskey Web and whatnot. It is 0 to 8 tentacles, 0 being horrible, spit it out, throw it down the drain. I don't know. What's the worst? I wouldn't clean my toilet with it. 4 is not bad. Have it again. Not really seeking it out. Nothing bad to say, though, per se. And then you have 8, clear the shelves, the most amazing in this expression I have ever had. Is that all? Should I say it again, or do you think you got it?
I think I understand. I'm going to say just right at 6. I was thinking about maybe like a 6.5. I think about at 6. It's pretty good. Would definitely drink it again. Would buy it again. But there's a little bit of extra harshness on the finish that I don't love. But all the other flavors are really good. So yeah, 6 seems appropriate.
Okay. So I think this is like $45, $50 in that range. It might be a little more for me just because I'm on the other side of the country. I think for that and a low proof, that might be a little much, a little bit of an edge on it. I saw online, I think it's supposed to be more around 40, 45 for most, at least on the East Coast. I'm sure you don't remember. It was just sitting on your shelf for a little while. Yeah. That said, I think it has some very interesting flavors. It's an easy sipper, but, I like some hug, so it only being 80 proof. I'd be interested in trying the 92. Definitely think that might be more interesting for me. This might make some very interesting cocktails, like a simple one, like a Manhattan, or I might even see what a Sazerac they might do with that, and then kind of step into a Manhattan to give it a little extra oomph. But given that, I meant more like a 5. I think it's like above average. It's interesting. For the price, I would probably pick something else up. I definitely would pick a Sagamore up before this one.
Yeah.
In this range as like a straight sipper. So yeah, I feel pretty good. I think this is a 5.
Okay, that's reasonable. So,
hot takes. No, just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know where we want to start with our lives falling apart, but like, yeah, I just wanted to do slightly less serious first about just like, I feel I've been the most domesticated I've ever been. Like the past couple of days. Today I woke up, I cleaned up all the stuff in the house because we had maids coming, so we had to pick everything up. I watched it. I watched the kids for a little while, then worked all day. Then after work, went outside with Finn, mowed the lawn, came in, made chicken and dumplings for dinner, and gave the twins baths, and like I just feel like I've been doing all this stuff, and like,
what the hell has your wife been doing this whole time? She on vacation or
no? I mean, she's been like hanging out with Finn, and like I don't know. It's hard with the 3 of them, but yeah. So I've been doing all of that, and then like it just seems like nothing goes right. Like always too busy, can't get anything done correctly, but then you're like, hey, at least you have a kitchen. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say there is a bright side to it. You have a house and a kitchen. I technically don't have either of those things.
You have a sink. I saw there's a sink in the picture.
There is a sink that's working. I will say, so you had a very busy and productive day. That is great. I've been busy in many ways. In many of the ways, it feels like I take a step forward and 2 back. So pipe burst a couple of weeks ago. Okay, there's a plumber comes, breaks open a wall. There's obviously water damage. A remediation team comes through. Homeowners insurance gets involved. Short version is they take out all the cabinets and half of the floor, so you don't really have a working kitchen to a degree. I guess the stove is hooked up, but like the living room is full of all the kitchen stuff in bags and boxes that you gotta find. Yeah. That's not even the worst of it, I don't think, because I'm like, well, this is inconvenient, but whatever else. Being the amateur plumber that I am, there was like a slight drip coming out of the hot water pipe where the shutoff valve is under the sink, and you've got normally that would hook up to a dishwasher, which we don't get to have right now either. But those things were like the dishwasher and parts of the cabinets and drawers that they could save for rebuild. That was all pushed in this closet where the hot water heater is. This is where it gets fun. So it's like the weekends, wife and kids are out. I'm gonna watch a soccer game, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna tinker away, and I'm gonna just fix that little leak over there. I'm gonna go just wrench on it a little bit. And what happens is, so it's a shutoff valve with like a compression connection on there, and I'm trying to twist the one part, and it's not really stopping the drip. So I try the other part, and somehow I pop the compression valve off, and then hot water starts shooting out onto my body. I have a 1 gallon bucket available to me, and water is just constantly shooting out, and it's very hot, by the way. So there's no like, try to put this back on. Ow, burn my hand. Also, I put the bucket there that fills up in less than 10 seconds every single time. So I'm fast dumping that. And remember, closet is full. So I'm like, move a drawer, go fill dump the bucket, because it's just there. And then move another drawer, dump the bucket. It's still getting on the floor. It's still getting all over me. And I'm like, fuck. Nobody's here. What am I supposed to do? I hope the valve is there that I can use. So I'm back and forth, move the dishwasher and get to the valve, and that stops the waterfall. I mean, it's still, so gravity in a full tank is still kind of like dripping it out, but I've got a lot more time than 10 seconds at this point. I find every single towel in the house being a 3-bedroom in a triplex that we're staying in right now, and just try to recover my hopes and dreams. This then moves on to a couple of trips to the hardware store with pictures on my phone and being like, big dummy, how I fix. And second time finally got it fixed with a new compression thing. But I think I counted, there were 22 towels I had to put down to try and dry all of this up. And, and then my funny mother-in-law was like, he should get a bigger bucket. It's over now. I don't need a bigger bucket. That solve my problem, but thank you. So this episode is brought to you by Aged in Ore. I only have your sticker right now. Couldn't find your cup.
Oh, man, that was an entertaining story.
I mean, I was so on it. I mean, hot water burn Charlie. I don't know, hot water burning me and trying to dump it out quick, and having to dig out a closet to get to the shutoff valve was just like, how a comedy of errors, for sure. How does this happen? I don't know. This has nothing to do with web development, but boy, is life interesting.
Yes.
Don't envy me, kids. That's all I got to say. I'm drinking a coffee cup full of whiskey, and it's merited.
Oh, boy. Yeah, in the tech world, if anyone is here for that.
By the way, we are going to talk tech a little bit.
Yeah, there were a few things in the news this week that I thought were interesting. The first, so I'm going to caveat both of these with saying all I've done is read like a tweet or two. So I'm not super informed on what happened, but we can speculate. So one was like, the maintainer of Stylus was like, hey, this was flagged as like a malicious package, and it's like been unpublished, and all of these problems on NPM, trying to just like ping people from Microsoft or NPM or anybody they could on like Twitter. I don't know if anyone was responding to them or not. I think other people were pinging people they knew from those companies, like adding everybody in there. The problem was not just that people couldn't use Stylus, which is, I believe, is it a like CSS and JS thing? Or I'm not really
I believe so,
sure.
Yes. I never used it, but heard of it. I believe it is that, though.
Yeah, but it was like it's a, dev dependency or dependency on a lot of things that you need to like build, like whether your styles are working or not, or you're using it directly for your styles. It's like a dependency on other packages. So then everyone's builds on like everything were failing because Stylus couldn't run. So it's like, I mean, it's not as bad as like the left pad incident, but it's like pretty similar. It's like the fragility of everything is in NPM, and whenever they decide on a whim they want to like pull something, they can. So yeah,
it's an interesting look at remote dependencies for private business and the house of cards that potentially could break those things either on purpose or not. Because like the third example is like Faker.js. The guy was like basically had a nervous breakdown and decided fuck the world and pulled his stuff, which kind of has the same effect. It's like you're trusting that everybody follows this whole like social construct within developer open source world, but it's all like, to the goodwill of people, and you can have a bad actor in that on purpose or not, because this is a not on purpose situation, which is strange. Other than someone maybe decided to maliciously flag this thing just to be a jerk, or they didn't like someone, and then there are ripple effects there. So it's kind of funny when you think about it. I was thinking about this from the perspective, and I've thought about it a couple of different times just because I'm going through like security scans on dependencies, looking for like SOC 2 compliance stuff. And
same.
Right? And so you're like, oh, okay, this thing has this problem, and oh, this thing has this problem, and they haven't updated it in 2 years, so probably nothing's going to happen there. And I remember David Kramer saying, I can't remember if it was a tweet or he just said it talking to us, but like how he would take dependencies and just copy them in and never be like remotely installing and like playing this game. Instead, it'd be like, I want to use that. I'm just copying it into my thing. You can leave attribution and everything else there, but you're never sort of like in this go get thing build cycle, and it's just all in your own code, which I think is an interesting prospect to like eliminate that potential.
Yeah, I mean, it's compelling. It's like it's more cumbersome, but I think I was just thinking about while you were talking, everything has a license, like most of them being MIT. Everything has like versions, a change log that you can trust or not. And like, maybe they're doing Simver right, maybe they're not. And we all kind of just assume that if the license is compatible with whatever we're shipping and the Simver is not breaking, it's fine to use.
Yeah.
And nothing is stopping anybody from publishing things wrong. Like there's an MIT license there, right? Okay, so it's free for everybody. They can't take it back. But what if they do? Or what if they publish something malicious? Like you're not going to be able to sue them. The license is like, it's free. We all love each other. Like,
yeah.
So you can't be like, hey, guy that like publishes free software for no thanks at all.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Yeah, I can. Like, what's stopping me? Are you going to sue me? Like, does that hold up in court? Like, what is your recourse when like things like this go wrong?
Nothing, because I think it's really like licensing. I think is really very one directional, which is I made this thing, I'm putting it out there. If you choose to use it, I won't sue you. That's it. If I change my mind at any point, you can't sue me. I gave it to you. And now I changed my mind. There's no contract. It's one direction. I accept that if you use my thing, we're cool. But the inverse is like, I'm done with this. Well, what the hell? We want more free work. No, hire me. Yeah. It's not a bad strategy, actually, if you think about it. I'm so valuable to you. Just bring me in-house.
Yeah, I think it's like, it's interesting how many things we kind of like falsely think there is any security on. We've been having a lot of trouble with insurance recently. And like,
business insurance. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone ever like have a good story about insurance? Like, oh, my insurance agent was so responsive and they paid for my whole house. Like, maybe occasionally that happens, but usually they're like, there's this little clause right here. And okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to raise my hand for when
okay.
I'm working on meeting etiquette. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just saying like, I think usually insurance fucks you more than like helps you. And it's like, there's no guarantees there.
I think across the board, they definitely have a reputation of trying to minimize their support and maximize their fees. And they want to keep the money for as long as possible. I think that's the case across the board. I think health insurance is like the biggest culprit there around that. It's like,
this episode is sponsored by Granted. Have a problem with your health insurance? They can maybe fix it. We can get into that later.
Well, I will say Travelers Insurance. This episode is brought to you by Travelers Insurance. They haven't fucked me, and they already wrote me a check, so good for you guys. Yeah, the adjuster showed up. She took measurements, went around. We had already begun like plumbing and remediation work, and she was like, "This all looks great. I'll go ahead and send you a check, and if you need more, let me know." And I won't give her name because they'll probably fire her. Yeah, she's doing such a good job for us and not for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's been kind of a pleasant. I got to say, in all of this unpleasantness, my biggest problem is that the workers and the companies can't seem to do what they say in a timeline that is reasonable, and I am leaving the country in less than 2 weeks. So,
well, that's the case with all like house building, plumbing, electrical, anything like that. They're like, oh yeah, I can. It's we would also maybe sometimes do it. It's any contractor is like, yes, I will take every single job. But they don't have time for every single job, but they don't want to say no. So they're like, yes. And then they try to fit it in, and it's weeks before they come out. And like, it's not.
We should do a show about this at some point and running a services business, because capacity management is really hard. It's really hard to manage and predict capacity and have employees when you're at the whim of current and possible contracts. And what you will do and say sometimes to sort of ride that line to do well. And it's not because you want to be a giant liar and say yes to everything. A percentage of like a quarter of the time at least, you don't even want to do that stuff. But you think it's the right thing to do by your company and employees and, your stable of contractors and all of those things. I think that's a worthwhile thing to say out loud. And there's many companies that we know of, peers, I would say, that will just blatantly say yes to everything and figure it out before the contract starts. Get it signed. Now plug in the holes. Who do we know that can do cobalt? Go find a cobalt person. Who do we know?
And frequently, it's like
it ended up
we'll
being
be bidding against someone, or whatever, and like they go with the other company because they whatever reasons, and then we end up getting it under them, like subcontracting with them.
Right.
So it's
there's been that. There's been companies that will play the low rate minimal margin game and try to skate through that. Like, you want a better margin so that you can ride it out through the low times. If your margin is low and you're paying all of the people that you're contracting real skint wages, and skint is subjective because nobody's like working at the 7-Eleven and then like jumping on a contract, of course. But like, if you're only able to get, if you're a working full-time contractor and you're only able to get work that amounts to 6 to 9 months out of the year because there's a marketing aspect, there's lulls in between and whatever else, and you're getting really a low standard wage in between those things, that's pretty tough. But then who you're subcontracting for, you are beholden to. But as soon as you get a better offer, you are definitely jumping ship. So you're definitely like, there's a balance there. And I always felt like if we paid better, we would have a better stable of folks who are loyal to us. So, but ultimately, if we don't have the contracts to offer, we will not win in the end. So lessons
this
learned
episode
there,
is sponsored by procurement.ai. Having problems getting hired at different places because they have procurement with only like Accenture? Use procurement.ai. It might exist one day.
Yeah, it might like become fake Accenture or fake like giant, that you have to like tuck under to get work because they won't accept someone without $45 million in insurance coverage, but very bad processes and super low rates. And a margin of $5. But they're playing the volume game, so there's that. Anyway, that's boring business stuff.
Is doing well, so
yeah. Well, the big consultancies seem to work it out. And what is funny is I've never been part of a company that's had engagement with any of, like, let's say the big 5 consultancies, and they've never walked away being like, I'm really glad we did that, and it cost quarter of $1 million. You know,
I mean, it probably costs more than that. You can't get them
Yeah.
to walk in the door for less than $1 million.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess this is the business of the web, right? Like how I was just thinking, like, how does this relate to web development? Well, I think in that sense, there's a business aspect to it. You know, if I could just host a website on my Mac Mini here and have a business, that'd be cool. But it's not the real world.
You can do that. Apple does that. A lot of their really important services are on Mac Minis under desks.
This just in, whiskey.fund is now open for all your merch needs.
That's right, Robbie. We're hearing reports of hats, sweaters, and t-shirts, as well as a link to join our Discord server.
What's a Discord server?
Just read the prompter, man.
Hit subscribe, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, and tell your friends about our broadcast.
It really does help us reach more people and keeps the show growing.
All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
We've had an inside source, so we make the joke, but that has actually happened with some stuff. Yeah.
We would always joke, like when, I forget what things we would use, but some internal service would go down. And be like, oh, somebody tripped over the power cord again.
Yeah. But that's, you've just outed yourself. Your NDAs are like triggering right now. I don't think there's a statute of limitations.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about the services or what they were. Like, it was all internal stuff, and I don't even remember what it was. I just
right.
I think it's funny that it runs on a Mac Mini.
I think that's a testament to the Mac Mini and like lots of horsepower and small things. DHH has been talking about that a lot lately. He keeps buying machines and makes me want to buy things, and then I have to remember that I have never run an F1 race, so I probably can't afford to follow his hobby in the same way.
Yeah. You've never been on Lex Friedman's podcast, or
we all know that's never happening. Like, and that's okay. Not that I'm expecting that, but it would be interesting. Here's a guy with a okay career, but is not that famous or at all. I'm not famous to anyone but my son, by the way. He's like, people know who you are, Dad. And I'm like, a very small subset of people do know who I am. You are correct.
But every once in a while, someone shows up and knows who we are, and it feels nice.
Yeah. There's a thing. So internet celebrity in our own way.
Yeah. Like I was in the Ember Discord the other day, like talking with Nullvox about something. Some guy
Discord server.
Yeah, some guy like jumps in and is like, oh, I was talking about like Big Sky, I think, and like how I had to do some stuff for my talk or whatever. And he was like, wait, I thought you were Ember Ride or Die. Like you're going to HTMX Conf. I was like, they actually do other stuff there too. It's not just HTMX Conf. But yeah, he was a fan and was like, oh, I hope you guys like get back to recording episodes soon and don't have to do reruns anymore. I was like,
listen, HTMX is and you're like, I'm trying to find a reliable replacement. You know anyone? I don't know what Adam's deal is. He doesn't have a job. Why can't you do this every week? Our guy.
Oh, Adam probably could if I gave him more notice.
Yeah. That's a you problem. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because I had Typecraft lined up to guest host last week. And he had like too much going on. And so he bailed. Then I was like, hey, Adam, it's like 4 hours until podcast time. Would you like to do this today?
With an Ember person that you don't know?
Yeah, and he's like, I'm like solo dadding today and I don't have any whiskey with me, so no. I was like, okay. But yeah, I think if I gave him notice, he'd probably do it.
It's an amateur move, though. You don't have a flask of whiskey on you at all times. I've got an iPhone, some portable mics, and a flask of whiskey. Let's see if we can make this happen. You know what? I will commit to doing some sort of like Whiskey Web and Whatnot on the move or in the wild or something. Like I'll go to a park with those things and see what happens. It might be funny.
Yeah.
Wait, is this a way that I can buy a drone? Anyway.
It's also much more acceptable to just drink whiskey in a park in Italy than it is here.
Yeah, yes and no. Yeah, I mean, in Europe, like public consumption isn't that big of a deal because they don't have like raging alcoholism. But
you're gonna bring it there.
Yeah, I'm gonna introduce them. Yeah, because drinking culture in Italy is like real minimal. Like, I don't. Maybe it's the people I know. I'm not sure, but I'm like really amazed at like you guys have incredible wine, and you're like lucky to have a glass, or like you'll go to a gathering and they'll put like 1 or 2 liters of beer out for everyone. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought this one was for me. What? No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know. I mean, I guess
table.
it's not as like celebrated maybe as it is here.
Yeah.
And it's also like, because I think there's something about, you know, you have to be 21 to drink that makes it like, oh, it's forbidden before I'm 21. So I'm going to do it because it's fun. And like we put it on a pedestal. Like in you know, Europe, they're like, oh, you're like 10, have some wine with dinner. Like,
Yeah, have a little sip. That way it's not like this thing. Well, they're the same with nudity too. Like,
yeah.
kind of like, oh, it's not some crazy thing. You must be 17 to see boobies. You know? Like, so I don't know. Yeah, it's like a whole taboo thing. I think there is a relation there. I'll have to report back.
Yeah. Speaking of seeing boobies, the other tech topic I have on here was the data leak from T. I don't know how much you saw about that, but it was, I think, basically hosted on a like completely unprotected like Firebase instance or something.
Oh yeah, I guess that's what it. Okay, yeah, because I was thinking about that. Makes sense. It was Firebase and whatever the version of S3 is for GCP, I guess, or it would be basically where that bucket was completely public, so you could scrape and download everything. So yeah, your assets bucket that's related to that was just set on star. Access was just star. You can access everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, so vibe coded. I think this comes
Probably
to
vibe coded, yeah.
Well, let's just say it wasn't actually, because I don't think that it's the joke because of what's happening right now. But I think that if you were to say do a startup as a non-tech founder, and you were to find folks that maybe were the cheapest to get your thing going. This is a possibility. It's a hypothetical, and it's not kind of like shade to the people. I think it's like shade to the person of like, I'm going to release this to the public without covering my bases. They made me a thing. Maybe they made a thing that was like a POC and never intended to be out in the wild at all. Who knows? Myriad of things could have happened there. But the point being is that like you roll through something on Firebase, you get it working, you feel cool, and then you made it public and started getting users. Wow, that was a Freudian slip if you ever saw one. But I mean, whatever. No judgment on people that kind of try to get gossip, get the tea, which was a term that I just learned. But anyway, all of that aside, this could happen in lots of ways. And it doesn't mean it was just like some vibe no-code app with a product owner who made this. Possibly. But it also could happen a lot of different ways. And it's just like people are more and more naive. And now they have an outlet to even get it cheaper and push things through. So at the end of the day, like security is a problem on the web, and it's becoming more so. And it's not just you or I getting phished through emails. It's not just someone at the front desk getting social engineered. Like there's a ton of backdoors there that a lot of people, it's almost like bizarro open source. There's a lot of people who know things about computers and they know where the vulnerabilities are, but they're like good citizens and they don't fuck with it. But as more and more people become computer and internet illiterate, because it's just going to become more pervasive through the world, you're going to have people start to push buttons. And now the risk is higher. And I think that's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Someone had, I forget the entire like text of the tweet, but it was to the effect of like, this is the underbelly of the internet. And it was showing just like requests to their website. And it was people trying like, you know, /admin/ like SQL dump / like you're just like trying to find all the things people might put there, and you just run bots on everything. And I think the problem is when you have an app like T, where everyone is like, it's in the news, like a lot of people either hate it or just like it's newsworthy, so they want to fuck with it. But like because it's there and like prominent, you're going to get more people seeing, hey, what could I do on here to like grab all the data and like just make it public? So they were bound to find some sort of vulnerability at some point.
I'm pretty sure you could vibe code a pen test AI app.
Yeah,
and that
probably.
would like do common vulnerabilities, like, you know, the old school WP admin kind of thing, default passwords across the board. Like, That, if it doesn't exist, it should. And by the way, I will accept a 10%, idea fee. This is IP right now, me saying it online. Yeah, I think you're going to have people exposing common vulnerabilities because the knowledge becomes more pervasive. Now, the barriers to entry are getting smaller and smaller because you can now ask a computer to do these things rather than I've got to go on a forum and learn and like get into the groups to kind of like start to learn what these things are all about. No, now it's just out there.
And AI is always right. So if it tells you a thing that is a vulnerability, you can bet it's correct.
You can try it. You certainly can try it. Just like with the code it gives you, you can try it. Don't push it to production, but you can definitely try it. And then you can say, I got this feedback. Didn't work out so well. What else do you got?
I still have not had like a successful, hey, Mr. AI, could you build me a thing? But like, it's very good at planning stuff and making you think it understands. But then when you're like, okay, you clearly understand how this should work, can you implement it? It's like, no, me no code.
Interesting. Well, let me just say this. So recently was experiencing some connection pools from a serverless application. Now, we know serverless is a bunch of separate functions. You can't have a shared client instance, which makes pooling very difficult. Kind of fine when you don't have users, but when you scale up the users, it starts to be a problem. So you got to think about that. Middleware or something else that starts to have a singular client is what you think about. I know about this being solved through things like Supabase. Like, oh, you just go through Supabase and Supabase solves that issue for you. So serverless application is all fine. But we know a lot of these companies are utilizing AWS tooling to put together their solutions. So you're like, what exists there that is kind of the basis of what this could be, even if you got to kind of write something in between. So for Postgres, it's RDS, and RDS has a proxy. A proxy basically ends up being your client. So every other route is a function. Function connects to your singular client, and client can pull up as you want. Oh, super cool. I discovered this utilizing AI. I'm trying to remember. I think I might have done this one, and I was planning. I like to plan with Claude directly, and then I play around with a lot of models in Windsurf when I'm implementing. So I think I got the plan through Claude, and then I said, great, I'm going to go over to Claude Code, because I want to placate it to its own friend. Yeah, even though I'm going to use whatever model I want. Give me a prompt that starts me out with the same progress we've already made in our plan. It did that. I go to Windsurf, put that in, and start kind of messing around. I think I told it I want to use some infrastructure as code. Went with SST version 3 because it's TypeScript, so that'll work for the team. They all know TypeScript. Nobody wants to learn YAML, so let's make that easy. And yeah, just kind of like worked back and forth through using SST to set up this infrastructure for me and to eventually provide me with a database URL that I could plug in as a Vercel environment variable, which would in turn give me my fun middleware. So I'm going to say that that's a successful endeavor working through AI.
Was it just copy pastable though, or did it get some things wrong and you had to like fix it? Because that's not like, I never get a thing that just works. Like I had it write tests for Shepherd, and it was like, oh, cool, Cypress. I know Cypress, like do this stuff. And it like was making up like selectors to select and like stuff that wouldn't pass as a test. But I was like, I see what you meant to do. So let me like change it. And it had like the structure right, but it was not like a passing test. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you got to think about the source of the information though a little bit too. So I haven't done that with Cypress, but Playwright has an MCP, and you can put prompts in to have it hit Playwright docs specifically for some information and context in your thread. So MCPs work in that way to kind of draw your context. Like, I don't want your training data. I want you to use this specific information. So that helps a little bit. I didn't do that with SST. I'm pretty sure they don't have an MCP, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so the question was it copy-paste? No, absolutely not. Every step was analyzing, reading the code, and accepting bits, and then saying, that didn't work, here's the error message. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Like, yeah, there's tons of iteration. No doubt about that. But it is a good working partner. Like, it's
Totally. Yeah.
I do think it's a good pair programming partner. And ultimately, I think it makes it more efficient than just like read the fucking manual, right?
Yep.
Go over here, read it, figure out how to apply it. Like, it's definitely like, Dax won't pair program with me. This is probably the next best thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have been using it a lot for that, like just needing an answer to a thing. And I can't be bothered to like Google or look for it directly in the docs. I'm like, I know you can find it in a second. I don't need to look through the docs.
Exactly.
Like,
it's efficient. It's super fast. You can feed it a PDF. Or I used it this weekend to try to figure out my plumbing solutions. I took some pictures. I uploaded those and I said, okay, this doesn't have threads. This is what happened. What can I do to basically plug this thing and have a shutoff valve? And it pointed me in the right direction. There's clues there along the way. I do think that.
Yeah, for sure. It's getting there. Yeah, I think the whole thing about like replacing everyone has been greatly exaggerated. I think it's just replacing the ways we used to work. It's not like, it's never going to be just perfect.
Yeah, I think there's an interesting gap there in like, for us, we're experienced. It's a great tool. We know how to ask the right questions, right? It's always been the thing about like, I don't know, what I think makes me a senior engineer isn't that I know everything. It's just that I know how to find the answers. I still think that's true. I think this is another thing where like, I know when it's giving me bullshit. I know when we're on the right path, and I know how to like, let's work together to figure it out. And when I see what is maybe a good answer and try it, and then I know, let me give you this because that's going to help you take the next step. It's the same thing I would personally follow. It's just probably faster. But
Yeah.
I do wonder, like someone coming into the field today, I think it's been a very effective disruptor. You cannot go to a boot camp and learn React and get this job. You can't.
Yep.
I mean, maybe you can in a very small subset where you're fighting against 2,000 other people who meet that criteria, where that used to be a bigger leap. And so I don't know what that path is, but I think it's narrowed the field. So we need to have people who can learn to get to this point. I just don't know what that looks like yet.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of incentivizes you to not do deep learning and makes you lazy. So it's like, if you weren't already experienced, then you're kind of screwed.
You're going to take the answer and trust it, and you're going to go down a path that is not pretty, I think. And I think there you go. That is the security vulnerability of T. That's how it goes. Like, you brought a team in that you thought would make you a thing, and you go through your acceptance criteria, you do the thing, and it, I've covered my bases, and I remember this, that product person remembers at company XYZ, we had to have a photo ID, and that verified that like their profile picture and them are the same and awesome, and then we don't delete any data. Although most companies, DHH said this too, 95% of companies, even when you say delete my data, do not. You know why? They try to scrub PII, but they want behaviors, and they use that over time to learn. I'm going to say that's true. I've been a few places, and many places do not delete everything. So whatever they tell you in the contract about delete and whatever else, they are being very specific. They will delete whatever connects to you. They'll try, at least. That's their intention. I do believe that. But everything else about what you ever did over the last X number of years, you used that tool, they kept it. 100%.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think that anyone, like, unless there's threat of a lawsuit or like direct punishment, is like, okay, yeah, I will actually like hard delete everything. They're like, yeah, okay, I did it, but they don't really do it.
Soft delete, scrub PII, soft delete. That's what happens. That's just assumed. I have introduced the concept of soft delete to some companies before. When you're working with them in an early stage and they're like, I don't know, they said delete, but then someone said I don't want to delete everything. I'm like, yeah, because soft delete is the standard.
Yeah, but what makes that hard is when you support both. Because we had not personal identifiable, whatever. Like it was just like, no, I'm like saying like it was podcast stuff at Art19. Like you could soft delete or actually delete an episode.
Adam,
so it was like,
delete that part because he just called out a specific company and I don't want to get sued.
No, it's okay. I'm just saying, like, it's a general concept. Like, I don't think it's a bad. I'm just saying that, like, if you can soft delete or hard delete the same entity in your model of type episode, then it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to build a list of like deleted episodes. Okay, well, I need to now do ones that are actually deleted and ones that are like soft deleted. And then like, when is it allowed to be hard deleted and when is it allowed to be soft deleted? And it's like, well, if you have some listens, then you can't hard delete it because those have to go into your like listens data and like different stuff. And like,
that's a valid use case, actually. I think that's a very valid use case.
Yeah.
And again, like the intentions are good and there's no PII. Well, I mean, I guess there is in the content, but like, I get that, right? Like, because probably as a show host, you want all the data. You don't want, even if you're like, oh, whatever happened and I had to get rid of this and, people can't listen to it anymore, I still want those listens.
Like if that episode had 1 million listens and your show had, 5 million listens total and you delete it and you then have 4 million listens, like.
That's a big hit.
Yeah.
And you had to delete it because of threat of a lawsuit, but like no lawsuit happens, no like further things, then, all good. Yeah, that's a great use case.
The whole like tracking listens for podcast thing is a scam in general because it's like, I mean, they have the like IAB V1222, I don't know, something 0.2, and it's like this, entity says what a listen is, but it's like, I think it's still more of just like a download or like Spotify is trying to change the nomenclature to be like stream or like play or like not like download,
which I think is more accurate because
if people download an episode a bunch but never listen to it, then it's not popular. Like they just happen to download it, they just didn't listen.
And there's when you subscribe and you like automatically you can set it up, at least in Apple Podcast, I believe. Like I'll have downloaded episodes that I'm like, I didn't ask for this, I just subscribe to the show and it just downloads the latest one. And I don't know if that's a setting.
It used to download all of them. If you followed a show, it downloaded every episode they ever had, which was like,
and you're like, I don't want them all.
Which is why we used to have a lot more listens than we do now. So it was like anytime someone subscribed, it would just be like, anyway.
It's why we're trying to find a less handsome co-host. I understand.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do a live show at Big Sky. I'm still I haven't had time to really think about a format. So if you have anything in mind that could be fun, let me know. But I'm I think it was between something with all M's, like a Malort, MCP, and Montana or something. And then like, I think this would be fun because it's going to be Typecraft and Prime, theoretically, if Prime is still down to do it. I was going to sit between them and do it between two mustaches.
And like that would be good. That would be good. And then you have to make Malort part of it or something. But is Prime MCing or no?
He is. So he's like, he's down to podcast, but he doesn't know if he's going to be like insanely busy, which he probably will. But
we can talk offline about that. I have opinions, but Malort is gross. You have to fly. Are you fly fishing while you're up there or no?
I'm not going to be there for long at all. Like I'm going Friday at 6 a.m. and then coming back, I think Sunday at like 6 a.m. or something. So.
Oh, right. So basically, nah.
Yeah.
You'll do the after thing and still be drunk on your flight the next morning. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Ken Wheeler will be there. So I know there will be more drinking than I would like there to be.
Ken does like to fish, but I should talk to him. Anyway. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll ponder that. I feel like I was going to say something fly fishing and that there's no, what is the F alcohol?
Yeah. Fireball.
Fireball, fly fishing, and
for JavaScript.
Firewalls. I don't know. Anyway. Cool. Well, let's see here. Your lawn sucks. Nobody cares. You've got more paternity leave. That'll be fine. I'm going to Italy soon. Nobody feels sorry for me, even though my life is in shambles.
Hey, at least you're getting to go soon.
Yeah, I'm going regardless. Whether they approve my visa or not, I'm just going on the 90 days and engaging a lawyer. So we'll see.
So
I don't have a house. I don't have cars. Or staying illegally. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, nobody listens there.
Do they have an alligator Alcatraz there?
I hope so. That'd be amazing. Alligator's not bad. I had an alligator po' boy. I'll eat you motherfuckers. What was the other thing? Oh, okay. So I have played a little bit of Jedi Survivor. The second one, so Fallen Order was the first one. I don't remember. The second one is I like story games. I have my gaming set up for on the road. Yeah, that game is pretty awesome and super fun. So I don't know if you've done any gaming lately. My son got a Switch too, but there's like two games
actually.
Yeah. Nice,
because Destiny 2, like I probably talked about it before, but I used to play it. Kind of stopped playing it because it's like a grindy, like you kind of have to play it all the time kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like,
your life.
And a new expansion comes out, and and then like your level is too low, and you've got like you basically have to play a lot. It was 10 years of the game, I think. So like they're now on like, hey, we're just gonna reset everybody to like really low level. Every like gameplay is gonna be kind of different, like new start for everybody's like, all right, this is a good time for me to start again. So I've been playing that for like the past few weeks, like every night, but like nice. I'm so tired. I'll start playing at like 9, and by like 9:30 I'll be like asleep, and I'll like wake up to like it's like your controller's disconnected. You were kicked out of the game, like because I just fell asleep playing. But then what's funny is half the time I'll actually beat the mission. So I come back to play like the next day, and I'm like, wow, I like slept through the last 3 minutes of this mission somehow and like beat it still. Like so that's been fun. But yeah, it's like probably one of my favorite games for sure. But it's a commitment though.
Yeah, you love that. I do. I like finality. I do like to like work through a story. I want it to be movie like where I get to do things. I like Jedi stories. Yeah, so I'm going to say the latest Fallen Order, which I think came out 2 years ago, and I bought it whenever it was on sale, and I've actually like worked through it these last couple of weeks because I've just had a few days where I'm like, I don't want to watch shows. I don't want to do anything. I want to completely disconnect. I want to play this game and just have some wins. And it is a cool game and fun. There's an Indiana Jones one that's more recent too that I've heard is great, but I got to wait for a sale.
Yeah, there's too many games, and like I just don't care that much because if I can't even play Tears of the Kingdom, then I'm like the bar is pretty low to where like because I love Zelda games, and I'm just like I can't even bring myself to do it, so I'm just like I don't care about any other game either.
Well, that's the funny thing is that I owned a Switch for I think like 8 years, and I played a little bit of FIFA on it, probably a lot in the first couple of years. I bought it for Breath of the Wild, and I kept it because I almost sold it for Tears of the Kingdom. And then once I finally finished that, I finally just got rid of it. I was like, we don't need another one. My son has one. We're fine. He has a Switch 2 now that has like 2 games on it. Okay, enjoy that. But,
Mario Kart and Donkey Kong.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And you can play your old games, but I don't know. Whatever. All that is to say is that Tears of the Kingdom, worth it. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's just like I think that requires even more of a like time commitment than, or maybe it doesn't. Like, but the way I want to play it, I want to be able to play it like several hours a day, really immerse myself in the gameplay and the story and stuff. Yeah. And I can play it for like maybe 30 minutes here or there. So it's like,
Breath of the Wild, when I had an infant, was like the thing. I'd play it for 30 minutes, put it down. Oh, it's a few hours later. Now I'm feeding the baby. I'm also kind of playing, or he just fell asleep and, play a little. Yeah. I don't know. To each their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's hard. Like, like you said, I love the grindy stuff. I think I always think I have undiagnosed ADHD. I watch all these videos of people that talk about like how to cope with ADHD, and they're like, make a list of like write every single thing you've ever had to do or thought about, or like every thought you have, write it all down, and then like put it into like small things that you can just be like, literally, like I took this like can and threw it away, and then like check that off. Like the like dopamine hit of like it has to be small. Like that's why I like these games, because it's like go here, do that, and I'm like fuck yeah, like I'm gonna go there and do like I need something
maybe
to
you
tell
should
me.
get, you know, they have the walkthrough books, like physical books that you can buy, and maybe you need to just get that, and then as you do each thing or each mission, you can just be like boom, boom. Because that's what my son got. Because I wish I had it. Because every once in a while I get stuck and I go online. I'm like, how do I do this? Like, fuck this. I don't have time to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then my son, when he was playing them, he just got a book. He just got a giant walkthrough book. And I remember
I had those
back in the
when
day.
I was a kid, like for playing Ocarina of Time and
yes.
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought those were great. So he got that, and he just was like, great. I follow it. I did the thing. Maybe you need that.
That is true. I think that even if you don't use that all the time, it gets you over the hump of if you're like, I'm kind of stuck and it's making me not love this game right now. You just read how to do that part, and then you can get back into the groove.
Yeah. There you go. Fun facts.
Cool. We are about at time.
Is there anything I want to plug? Anagramsecurity.com, because I need my company to blow up so I can buy a villa right next to George Clooney. If you support that goal, anagramsecurity.com.
You should change it to anagram.ai, and then it'll blow up.
You know what's expensive? Anagram.ai. Anyway, that's why it's anagramsecurity.com. You got to like work your way up. You know, we're in the grind, bro.
Yeah. Well, by the time you can shorten it to a.com, that's when you know you made it.
Yeah, hell yeah. We won't be talking anymore. I'll be off the planet. I live in Mars with Elon, and I don't know. Sorry for Earth.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. If you liked it, subscribe, and we will catch you next time.
Boom, 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 boom.
You've been watching Whiskey Web and Whatnot, recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What the fuck are you talking about, Chuck?
Enjoyed the show? Subscribe.
You know people don't pay attention to these, right?
Head to whiskey.fun for merch and to join our Discord server.
I'm serious. It's like 2% of people who actually click these links.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about the show.
All right, dude, I'm out of here.
Still got it.